Mule deer, they're a totally different critter than whitetails. Whitetails, they evolved in a woodland setting. What do they rely upon? They rely a lot upon their ears and their sense of smell. They back that all up with their eyesight. But guaranteed, a whitetail's going to bust you every time with that sense of smell, hear you coming, and then verify it if he can see you. Most of the time, they don't even wait to see what's coming. Now, what do mule deer rely upon? Well, they rely upon their sense of smell. They can get you on that. They got great hearing, but they're really all about their eyes. They're kind of like the pronghorn antelope. They like to verify what's going on. And that's why a lot of times they'll give you that last over-the-shoulder look before they go over hill. They may hear something that's just out of place. They'll jump out of their bed, run up the hill, look back, and verify. They evolved in the open country. They want to see what's in the open country. Now, don't let that sense of smell fool you, though. If you don't have the wind in your favor, you're not going to get within rifle or archery range of any mule deer. What's their other advantage? They like to bed high. They like to be where they can see things. Again, going back to their eyes. They'll usually bed with the wind at their back, looking out over where danger might come. Wind at their back, hitting them in the back, they can smell if anything comes up behind them. Those big ears, they can hear if something's coming up behind them. And out in front, they've got the front row seat to any danger coming up the face of the mountain. You ready, Mark? I'm ready. Let's go see if we can find a mule deer. Now for me, there's no greater challenge than mule deer hunting. If you want to add just a little more challenge to it, maybe a lot more, try desert mule deer hunting. The desert is big country, and these deer spread out. They don't focus on food plots like whitetails or maybe a big green alfalfa field like mule deer up in the western United States. These mule deer, they focus on what they want to focus, and that's the big open country. They are where they are, and that's everywhere and anywhere, and you've got to put on the boot miles to find them. Desert mule deer, like any mule deer in open country, they look for shade, especially when it's hot. And there are very few days in New Mexico when it's not hot. So where does the shade come in the shape of? Heck, it can come in the form of yucca plants, creosote trees, even cholla, rock ledges, you name it. Those mule deer are looking for it. And when you start looking around in the desert, you find out that there are not only thousands, but millions of these hiding spots.
You can see right here, it's right under this shade, so as the day, this spot's actually going to get better as the day goes on.
Mm-hmm. Now in this hunt with Santa Fe Guiding Company, I hooked up with Bob King. We were seeing all sorts of critters. Quail, audads, mule deer, coyotes, even wild turkey. But the thing we were after were those desert mule deer.
We just spotted a buck from up on top of the next ridge. He's too far to shoot and he's in a yucca, big yucca bush, we think is where he bedded. So instead of risking a long cross-canyon shot, we're going to go all the way around, get up on top where he's at.
We started sliding up the ridge, looking, peeking, tiptoeing. The wind was in our favor and it was picking up. And that's great because this country is about as rock-strewn as any quarry I've ever been in. You cannot take a step without tripping over a rock. So it's a little bit noisy slipping up on any mule deer when they're bedded. We looked and looked, and right beside us, a deer stood. I mean, 15 yards away, but it was a fawn. So we backed out, didn't spook it because we didn't know how close we were to that big buck. We started getting on our hands and knees. That's how sure we were that this buck was close. Because, man, I hated it. It was just eating up my knees. I slid my gun around, and it just caught the edge of some leaves. I went, shh. The buck jumped up, and unlike most mule deer, he just cut out and never looked back. Then all of a sudden, another deer stood up, and I thought, maybe there's a beehive of them here. There could be a big one. I got up on the shooting sticks on that second buck, got on him, started looking him over. He just wasn't what I came to New Mexico for. He was a real young 3x3 with some kicker points. I put the gun up on him just to make sure. No way. It was a tough decision. Watch that buck. As pretty as he was just a young deer, probably no more than 3.5 years old, and he needed a few more years, and I still had a few more hours left in the hunt. Something might be pulled out in the last minute.
North American Hunter is brought to you by Federal Premium Ammunition. Every shot counts. Matthews, catch us if you can. Mossy Oak, it's not a passion, it's an obsession. Nikon, the trusted name in optics. Game Hive, makers of the Freedom Sleeve. Hunting wear is all we do. Thompson Center, America's master gun maker. And by HuntingClub.com, the official site of the North American Hunting Club.
Mule deer hunting in the New Mexico desert is world-class. It's an experience like no other. But the beauty and history of this area can be worth the trip alone.
Historically, this ranch that we're on was one time owned by John Tunstall from the Lincoln County Range War. The Lincoln County Range War was fought between two merchants, Tunstall and Murphy, seen in all the movies, Young Guns, Chisholm. Billy the Kid actually lived and worked on this ranch working for Tunstall. When Tunstall was murdered, Dolan, the victor of this war, took this ranch as a trophy, and we actually have his original house back here that we lodge clients in on special situations.
Meet Kaiser the Kid, a.k.a. North American Hunter's Mark Kaiser.
It's funny how cool it can be in the mornings in the desert. And then about 3 hours from now, we'll be wishing it was about this temperature because it'll be 80 degrees.
Now, early the next morning, the last day, I mean, it's down to the wire. So instead of wasting time, I told Tim, T-Bone as he's known, to go out and you look in another area, see if you can bed a buck down, drop me off at that big red water tank. I'll hang out there for an hour or two at sunrise, see if an old boy comes in. It's very arid here. Deer need water, just like you and I daily. So we knew it was a good place to start out. The tank holds the water and runs it into troughs and water reservoirs for the livestock, and the deer use that. The tank, man, it's just a perfect sniper perch. You can get up there, you can see everything, deer coming, going, traveling around. It's my kind of hangout. Way off in the distance, I watched a buck feeding. Looked like a good buck, and he bedded right under a cholla in a big open grass field. Now for Mark Kaiser, that looks like the perfect setup for success. A buck all by himself in one shaded spot, and I know exactly where he's at. We bailed off the water tank, headed down there, snuck in. Oh, it looked perfect. I mean perfect. Got up on him, and guess what? He wasn't a shooter. That's what you get from field judging a mule deer from, say about 1.5 miles, 2 miles away. It's a long distance. There's a lot of heat waves. He looked a little bigger than he was. But heck, it was some action, and it was hunting, and that's what I'm out here to do. We hauled to the other side of the ranch fast. Met up with Bob. Luck was on our side. I couldn't believe it. He had spotted at least 3 more bucks. One of them looked like a giant sitting up in a basin. The only problem was the sun was setting, and that giant was in a place where it was going to be awful difficult to get anything but a long, long shot on him.
Is there a creek bottom right there?
Yeah.
Or is it open off for way? That's where he's going to catch us. He was already looking at us here.
I think we could come back. Yeah.
While I was trying in my head to map this route out with T-Bone, I turned around and was just looking all around me, and straight behind me, coming right over the top of another big ridge, was a buck. And I decided right there was no time to waste. We couldn't wait there and hope they were going to come to us. We had to get aggressive and go to the deer. Did you see him? There, that's him, isn't it? Coming out of that shadow. Okay. I'm going to drop the pack here. Why don't you just spot from here? I want to crawl a little further so I can get a flat shot. Getting down on my hands and knees was a tough decision. I didn't want to do it. It was all rock. But it was the only way I was going to get a good, flat shooting position, a prone shooting position for this shot that appeared to be close to 300. I got him. After about 50, 60 yards, it opened up in front of me, and I could see clearly right to the bucks. 2 of them were standing across from me. I hit the rangefinder. They were at 250 yards or so. So instead of rushing the shot, I took some of those beautiful New Mexico rocks and built a back rest for my stock.
Oh, you got him. There he goes. Good shot, Mark.
And with 3 days of hard hunting, it really paid off in the end. Oh, wow. Look at that acorn on him.
Cool.
Whew. That's a treat all on its own right there.
Uh-huh.
Nice forks, nice brows, and just look at that gnarly thing.
I've never seen that.
There's actually 1, 2, 3.
Uh-huh.
They call them acorns on whitetails.
I've never seen them on a mule deer before, though.
You know, I see them rarely, but a lot more. Of course, I hunt a lot more whitetails than desert mule deer. Look at how fat he is. Look at that.
That's one thing with all this grama grass, boy. It sure fattens these boys up.
Gosh, they have such pretty chocolate horns, too, from rubbing in the cedars. And God,
that is just a really...
That's a last-minute surprise.
There.
Up next, Bill Miller makes shooting practice more fun, and Melissa Bachman explains the buzz around fast bows.
As an archer, our bows say a lot about us. Mine says I'm fast, really, really fast, almost 360 feet per second fast. I admit it, I did run college track. However, I can promise you I never broke times like that. Either way, this isn't track, it's hunting. And can this speed really help you this fall? The answer is yes, and here's why. Every one of us have made slight misjudgments in the field when it comes to measuring distance. Extra zip from your bow creates tighter pins on your sight. What this gives you is a bit more leeway when it comes to yardage estimation. Let's say an elk is standing at 40 yards. Your nerves kick up, your mind clouds, and somehow you misjudged the distance and used your 20-yard pin. Elk are huge animals, and to the untrained eye, they appear much closer. To demonstrate this example, I'm going to shoot 3 arrows from a slower bow at 40 yards while using my 20-yard pin. As you would expect, the elk goes on to live another day. Now, I'm going to shoot my monster and make the same misjudgment. A bull at 40 yards and my pin set at 20. The shots are a bit lower, but still in the kill zone. What makes this bow so fast? It's the ABS dual cam technology. It allows the bow to store more energy, maintain let-up, and achieve greater efficiency. The cams are completely synced together, preventing them from getting out of timing with each other. It's fast, efficient, and completely synchronized. Fast bows combined with a lot of practice and patience are sure to create a deadly combination for you this fall.
The following products have been field tested and approved by members of the North American Hunting Club. Rocky's S2B boot features scent lock odor control, breathable Gore-Tex liners for waterproofing, and full-grain leather nylon uppers for durability. Smith & Wesson's 20-piece picnic set includes everything you need for grilling, including a stainless steel spatula, easy grip tongs, grilling fork, basting brush, grill cleaning set, and more. To find out how you can become a field tester, visit huntingclub.com. Our field testers get to keep everything they test.
A couple seasons back, we shared one of my favorite ways to practice for big game hunting. Basically, it's the equivalent of shooting a round of sporting clays, but with the actual rifle that you'll be hunting with. Now that's great when you can do it, but the problem is accessing an area that's safe to shoot with enough acreage to really accommodate true full-fledged big game hunting rifles. We've got that licked. With a true adult air rifle like this Gammo 22 Hunter Extreme, I can get the same kind of practice, but just on a smaller scale. The best way to set the course is to have a friend position the balloons without you knowing exactly where they are. That way you'll have to walk the trail and spot and stalk the balloons, just like real hunting. Set the balloons with a solid backstop, whether that's a tree, a dirt bank, or even down in the ground at the base of a tree. Keep all of your shots short, under 50 yards. Instead of blowing the balloons all the way up, just inflate them halfway so you've got a smaller target. You can make the shot opportunities pretty realistic. So if you take this game seriously, like you're hunting, it can be practice as good as it gets.
You call the shots when we return.
If you want to add some excitement to a hunt and a little more challenge, hunting with a handgun is the way to go. And aside from that, there's a cool factor, too, of just hunting with a handgun.
Well, look at this. This is cool. Larry looks a little different there. I mean, he's got a different hairstyle, and I like the ponytail look on him, too.
That's a good look for Larry.
Oh, man. Well, that's Melissa, obviously.
Right, and she's hunting in a ground blind.
I think the one enjoyable aspect I like about a handgun hunt is not only is it cool, it's a lightweight option. And there are so many places where you set up, and you know you're only going to get that 100-yard or less shot anyway.
And that's just in a situation like this. I mean, what are you really giving up in terms of ballistics and accuracy? You're likely to be taking a close-range shot.
Oh, that's a good looking
bugger, too.
He's more than a little excited, it looks like.
You know, Mark, the one thing I've noticed, I've shot a handgun a little bit, is it's a little bit tough to stay on deer that are moving through the woods because you really have to have your eye lined up with that scope or the scope goes black. A little different than a rifle hunt.
Definitely, a little more precise, and this is a must. I don't care where you hunt. Melissa's showing us right there. You've got to have a solid rest. Sure. I mean, there's times when you can have point-blank shots and lift up and shoot a handgun, but shooting sticks or even the new tripod sticks, that's the way to go on it.
And as far as your scope goes, you need to have the eye relief. You need a scope that's specially made for a handgun, so you got that extra eye relief. It's critical when you're trying to, obviously find a buck in this kind of cover.
So 106 yards, quartering away, distance isn't a problem, angle probably isn't a problem, but as I see it, way too much brush to shoot at this point.
Boy, all I see is antlers and a tail. I don't want to shoot at either of those.
You know, in my look at this, the same thing. There's too much brush, and even though it's quartering away, it's a pretty hard quarter. It's a narrow window to get it in there, and I think I would just wait right here on this shot. Personally, I'm not going to pull the hammer back just yet.
I'm really questioning where Melissa set up. There just doesn't seem to be a lot of shooting lanes here. Obviously, sometimes you need to get back in the brush, especially with mature deer like this. But, boy, if you don't have shooting lanes, this is what you're going to end up facing.
The buck looks like he thinks something's up here.
I think he does. Did he see her? Is he looking for another doe? Is he just looking around? You know, those are all questions in your mind, and that's what makes you think, do I need to take the shot now?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there is a shot here, and to be honest, I really don't think Melissa's going to get a shot. This buck, he's not spooked, but I just really can't see him coming back in and giving her a shot.
And that doe is probably ahead of him, and he's probably going to push back up that ridge farther, so, and that's what we're seeing right now.
Say goodbye. He's walking away. What a heartbreaker, though, to watch an animal like that walk away.
North American Hunter is brought to you by new supercharged scent killer by Wildlife Research Center, beyond 99%. Polaris, see the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles now at your local dealer. Quebec, providing emotion since 1534. To receive your free packages brochure, please call 1-877-BONJOUR. Cuddyback, fast trigger speed, long battery life. Gammo USA, adult precision air guns, and by these other fine sponsors.